I'm driving a Suzuki. That means fucking freedom.
Tequila!
I don't want to be pulled up.
GMat.
Is there anything for dessert or something?
Oh, Mario.
Oh my god!
I'm Hometown Spider-Man.
Yay. I need help with doing a push-up.
This is still going?
Yep. This happened last night, and I didn't tell Beck about this because I was looking forward to
I love
doing
how
it
the
on
stories
podcast.
start like this.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Start packing.
I had a dream that you and I were gay together.
You looking at me?
Yes.
I often have the same dream, guys.
What, that we're gay together?
Yeah. No, I don't.
What?
It's a daydream.
Can you flick the GMat podcast thing on? Just a bee's dick. It'll click, and then a little bit of light.
I still remember that one night. I think it was orange juice night where you guys, I think I've got the video somewhere.
Oh,
You guys were slow
A little bit
dancing.
lesbian. A little bit perfect.
Do you remember that?
So,
You
yeah.
guys remember drunkenly slow dancing together?
It was a waltz.
I got to tell you, it was electric.
I remember kissing you and how easy
Wait,
it
what?
was. How easy it
Oh
was.
no, that's
It
right.
just
That
felt
happened.
right, you mean?
No, like I just thought it was just like, and you're just like, all right. You didn't like pull back or anything. It just,
I don't think I had the reaction.
You wanted it.
at that point.
I think so. I think I put my hands on your head and I was like,
That's right.
because I always think it's funny this,
What, was it a joke to you?
it kind of is. Like, I know it's Pride Month, but I always think it's funny to kiss a man. Always gives me a giggle in any context.
It's funny to kiss anybody that you're not
Yeah.
you're not into, I guess.
Well, I mean, you should.
Anyone who's not ready for it and isn't consenting to it, hilarious.
so funny.
But yeah. I remember it being easy peasy.
So
lemon
tell me
squeezy.
about this dream.
So it was there was no sex. That was it. We didn't
Never
like
mind.
have sex or kiss or anything.
What else you got in that book?
It was it was more just like it was just vibes. Like we're like playing we're playing video
You had
We
games.
one
haven't done
each.
anything. I've not discussed it with him, but we feel gay. To me.
That's what dreams are like. You're like, there's
Yeah.
nothing actually going on, but I know it's gay.
It was figurative, yeah. Because I think there was a thing about there was Beck and Georgia really pissy about it. Oh my god. Not right now.
It's God calling to tell you he hates us.
When you said Beck and Georgia, that's not where I thought that was going. I'm like, oh really? Two prong?
No, you guys were pissy. But yeah. I remember it being fucking awesome because it was like, we were just
Right
like,
on, bro.
that was it. We're in bed, and then
Playing with each other's hair.
you got up real early and you went, and then you came back and you're like, hey, you want to come and play some H1Z1? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know why we're playing
Fuck, we're so
H1Z1.
gay.
And we were playing music. And
You're the best boyfriend ever. No, you're the best boyfriend ever, bro.
Chest bump.
and what was the best bit? No, this didn't happen in the dream, but I was thinking about it more.
Just when you
Just
woke
added
up.
some more on.
And I was like, it would be pretty sick to like, it's like the perfect scenario. You're like, I want to go with the boys. I'm like, I want to stay home. This is great. I'll see you later.
Even in your dreams, you're a nester.
Well, this is when I woke up.
You take a jacket and you don't stay out too late. All right? I want you back here by 11:30. Goodbye. Up. Off you go. Have fun.
Yeah.
And usually when I have a sex dream, which is not often, thank
It
God.
wasn't a sex dream.
Well, but one of those weird
It was a love
dreams where
dream.
you
Love dream.
you wake up and for like that, just pretty much for that day, you're like, I feel like I have a crush on that person. But then it goes away the next day. So is there like a little bit of like, oh, hey,
Residual.
Ben.
No, because we didn't have sex. I do I don't know big enough vocabulary for this, but I do
You started a word. Make
yeah,
one
it
up.
would start with I do refem. I do miss the idea of how our relationship would function. I like I'm grieving for something that was never there. I'm like, that was kind of cool, but no, we didn't have sex.
I can put on a shaggy red beard tonight if you need that.
As long as you don't fuck
not
me and
about
we
that.
just play some H1Z1.
It's all about H1Z1.
Yeah, no, it was just like, I think I just want to move in with Ben. So,
Again.
if you
To
and
be
George
fair,
are-
how different was the dream, besides the fact that it was me and not Beck, how different was it really to your real life?
I'm basically a
'Cause
little dude anyway.
It's chicken nuggets and playing music and video games.
Yeah, but it was just because you lived there. That was it. It was pretty
guys
much.
could wrestle.
It was pretty
Yeah.
much when I used to live in that house, except put Georgia in that house and me in this house.
Yeah.
Oh, so in acid reflux. Yeah, that was it.
That's nice.
It was fucking rad. Oh, we shared
Beautiful.
clothes was the other thing, which made no sense. Made no sense at all.
Best thing about being gay.
Yeah, we had like the same wardrobe, and I was like, "How good's this?" And it's like, "Oh, I want to
How
wear those today."
good's this?
But in what reality will we be wearing the same size? Anything?
I've worn your shirts before.
That's true. That's
just-
true.
yeah.
You wore it on a podcast once.
Yeah, he
Didn't
just
even
wears
bring it
your
up.
stuff. It's oversized. And he's
Just like you.
Doesn't,
Yeah,
belongs
yeah.
to my boyfriend.
Boyfriend shirts.
And wait, is this your flexi cap or my flexi cap? Yeah. I wear your clothes sometimes. If you have something really baggy,
I
it
mean,
looks fitted
look at
on
me.
me.
Everything I wear is oversized, so it's not that hard.
You had that super dry jumper I used to wear forever, and I was like,
That jumper you're wearing underneath is mine.
"That's true. That's true."
Point
It
proven.
was at one point.
Myth confirmed.
Yeah. What do you want to do that?
What?
Just be gay together?
If everything goes to shit,
We'll see.
you know,
You know.
make one of those pacts where you both hit 40.
When we hit 50, if we're both not married, let's marry each other.
Both in long-term relationships. If it all goes to shit,
need
just
a plan
whatever. If we
B.
hit 40 and we're still not gay, we'll be gay.
Or we could just stay with our partners and just
Be gay.
live together.
Okay.
Like Bale and Beck can go live wherever, and
Yeah, isn't there-
Georgia can go live wherever, and then you and I move into a little condo, maybe in the inner city, New Orleans, somewhere
Maybe
like
that like
Plants.
inner suburbs hipsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of love this. I don't think I'd be mad. I love this for you
Yeah.
guys. As long as I can come visit and we can have brunch.
This is what they need right now. You know, this is their journey. This is what they're going to do.
What are going on? But we sleep in the same bed, but we don't touch each other.
Yeah.
You know?
What is he? How does he sleep, Beck? What's his situation?
Sound.
Like, in what sense?
Is he like a big snorer? Is he like a little washing machine that's just going constantly round and round?
You only
or
snore sometimes if you're not well.
Yeah.
is he a stationary person or?
I'm often not well.
No, you'll find him moving more and more over onto your side. Like you had a banana pillow last night for some reason, and I woke up with it like in my eye.
Here's the thing.
He had a banana pillow for some reason.
Because
Like,
some-
it wasn't in the house before last night, and it just happened to be on the bed.
We've been having a lot of late.
Look what I found.
We've had a lot of things that happen in the evening, like rehearsals and stuff.
Okay.
And because I'm like, okay, I can eat dinner at 5:30 like a retiree, or I can eat dinner at 11 p.m. when I get home. And I'm not going to eat dinner at 5 p.m. because I'm going to get home at 11. I'm not going to go straight into bed. I'll be starving. So I have to eat late, and because I have acid reflux, I have to get the banana pillow to prop me up a little bit so that I'm not laying flat. Just a little.
Okay. I already don't know how you do it, Beck.
He's a big snuggler though, so you will have to,
Oh.
you know, you're gonna have to be the little spoon sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
I'm versatile. I go big, I go little.
you
I
know,
do it all.
I don't reckon you can handle it.
What, being your little?
Georgia says I'm a literal heater.
Yeah, I'm pretty hot too. So I think we'd both just be
Volcano bed.
Very thin blanket is all you'd need.
the whole
No,
bed
I
just-
like a nice blanket. I'll put a leg or two out. But she can't come near me.
Oh yeah.
She's like, at a distance, she's like, you're just so warm. Please
So
be
strange.
away
Beck
from me.
uses the same excuse. I think these
it's
ladies
just a
are
man
tricking
thing.
us,
Yeah.
man.
That's what my family says at Christmas lunch. Bro, you're gonna have to sit outside.
Yeah. This year, not you.
Yeah,
Not
no
you this
presents because as soon as I thought about getting one, I was just like, oh man, it's so warm in here.
year.
Although, you know, it's economical in this winter. Don't have to turn the heater on.
Now let's not sit here and fucking roast me too much. Beck's not the best sleeper herself.
We're not
Yeah, but-
talking about me.
Okay,
this
that's
is
true.
not-
All right,
Nobody
all right.
wants to shack up with me, apparently. So.
Yeah, I think the quote was Beck can go and live wherever.
Yeah, I remember that.
Beck takes the sheet. That drives me crazy, and it's
On
been happening a
purpose.
lot more lately.
I just accidentally burrito myself as the night
She
goes on.
she's like a rotisserie chicken.
I think, you know, I'm sorry if it sounds mean, but I think we should get separate blankets. Like that's something that works for a lot of people.
Here's the thing: I had separate blankets with my last girlfriend.
Oh, and that was the decline.
That was that. Well, I mean, it was
Start of
it
the
was
end.
already declining, but I did that because I was in decline. So if I feel like if we get that, we're in decline.
I'm
and
not
there's
her.
no escaping.
You know, we're different.
I think it'd work. I think,
I think so.
or like a massive blanket that just like touches the floor on both sides.
I'd still find a way to steal all of it.
Yeah. No, I'm a fine sleeper. All right. When I'm asleep, I'm not a bother to me. And we go to bed at separate times a lot, so that has its own issues because I play a podcast while I fall asleep, and then she'll come in and she'll turn it off, and that'll wake me up, and you know.
Turn that back on. I was watching that.
It wasn't that.
You're not a headphone.
No, because it feels. I don't like the feeling.
Oh, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Should we do a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We'll bloody do it. Let's give it a go. Woo, GMat. Yay. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 202 of the GMat podcast.
There's no fucking way you pooed yourself over cans of Heinz Super One creamy tomato soup. You idiot.
Today's episode of the GMat podcast is brought to you by our merch, which is available at teespring.com/stores/therealgmat. Teespring.com/stores/therealgmat. Get yourself that thing behind Ben on a jumper. That intro was created by me. We need some intros. Send them to contact@therealgmat.tv or submit them in the Discord. We'd love to play them. We'd love to hear them. Otherwise, I'll just get voice recordings of Aiden. That's always fun. If you want to support the show and help us to keep doing what we do and get access to extra content, go to patreon.com/theGMat podcast. Pledge any amount and you'll get some cool shit. Cut the music, please, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Hello, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm the host of the GMat podcast. I'm joined, filling in for Aiden. Here's our producer and all-rounder, Peppy J.
She's round. Hello.
She's round. And across from us, my future husband, Ben J.
Thank you. Who the fuck's Tony?
The guy cuts the music. He lives in the cupboard when it's
That
shut.
better be all he is.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not playing H1Z1 with Tony. That I sent Aiden a voice message. I kind of pooed myself yesterday. A little bit. And it was very funny because I only pooed a little bit. Like I started a poo and I was like,
didn't
whoop.
realize.
Only pooed
Gotta
a little
go.
bit.
I was looking you in your face and I didn't
That's
know.
why I ran away saying, I
I
pooed.
think you know someone.
Child.
And then you didn't know that I pooed because you were trying to do a gag and you didn't hear me
I
say.
thought you were laughing raucously and having a huge reaction to my joke,
Oh,
which, to be
no.
fair, I thought wasn't very likely. But I was really chuffed with myself because you ran away, and I'm like, "That was a really good bit." And you came
Nailed
back
it.
and you're like, "I pooed." Like, damn it!
I picked up, I went to make some soup. And in the cupboard, I've got these little soups. And it's called Heinz Soup for One Ready to Serve Creamy Tomato. And I thought, that made me laugh because that's a really long name. And so I was like, I'm going to do a bit. And I opened the door to Beck. And I was like, Beck, I'm about to make some Heinz Soup for One creamy tomato, ready to serve creamy tomato. Would you like some Heinz Soup for One ready to serve creamy tomato?
What was it called again?
And I was like, it's Heinz ready for one, ready to serve creamy tomato. And you were like, no, I don't want that. And I was like, but you said but it's only Heinz ready to serve soup for one creamy tomato. I said, yeah, but I've got two of the Heinz ready to serve. And we did this bit. And then I was trying to be really straight about it. And then I laughed. I broke out the bit and went, and I pooed myself when I laughed. And they went, I pooed myself. And I ran out of the room.
Didn't hear you say that. I was too busy laughing at myself.
Apparently Beck made a joke while I went and pooed myself.
It's fine.
That's fun.
So
It's a cute bit.
it's the kind of thing you can look forward to.
Great
Yeah,
stuff.
future marriage.
And you caught it though. You caught the majority of it.
Yeah, when you say you pooed yourself, what does that mean?
It was like
It was a jab.
I had diarrhea.
It wasn't a full uppercut combination
I had
It's like
diarrhea yesterday.
on the right.
It just sort of came out and I was like, I could wipe it away.
Because sometimes,
Yeah, well, what?
I think
It wasn't dry cement. What
It
do you
didn't
mean?
come out onto my pants and everything. My ass.
Oh,
the
it
difference
crossed the
is,
threshold.
does it leave the cheeks? Because
No,
then, if it doesn't leave the cheeks, I don't know.
It stayed in the cheeks. But remember, I've got a lot more cheek than the average ass. You
It's
know,
got to be good for something.
it's good for pushing. That's what Ben always says.
Is what it is.
It's like if I go into Ben, if I got Ben's bum in front of me,
For
and
example.
I take
You
my,
often do.
I take my finger or let's say any bum. Let's not bring you into this.
Okay.
You
The
have a bum.
collective bum.
You-
The
you-
mean bum.
You go up to the bum and you put your finger till you touch bum, and then it's like how far in does your finger go before you touch hole? Is the
when you
cheek?
say bum, you mean just flesh.
Their cheek, their cheek.
Yeah,
The second my
the
finger
crevice,
touches
when you cross
anything.
the event horizon of if you're looking laterally,
Yeah.
the cheek. This is the two cheeks are like that.
Uh-huh.
So there's the back and the head here, back, caboose, and you're looking across the horizon,
Yep.
and you go.
Boop, stop. That's it. That's the
touching
event
bum,
horizon.
and then how far?
Until you hit hole.
Yeah,
So I think I have a few extra knuckles than the average
Extra
person.
knuckles?
Well, someone with no bum, you'll go like, oh, there's butthole. And you're like, oh,
Wait, really?
I'm barely past the nail. No, that's exaggeration. But then like someone
I don't
with
want to know those people.
someone with a nice butt, you'll be like, oh, I got like right there before I hit butt. I don't know. And then me, it's like, whoa, help.
We've never run this test. Just I feel like that should be a
Wow.
disclaimer.
So there's a lot more space for the poo to get from the hole to the outside. And I feel like that's what I mean by I have a lot more cheek to contain.
But
the
you know,
poo.
I think that's a superpower because you know what? I don't think it's shitting yourself until it leaves cheek.
yeah.
That's how I
Hitting
feel.
fabric or leaving cheek?
Well, you can't have one without the other, right?
What if it is like if I put my pants down and you can see it? That's when you've shit
If you're
yourself.
standing naked on a trampoline.
If you can't see it unless you open the
Open the
sandwich.
arsehole. Yeah. Open that ice cream sandwich.
Because then it's just between you and God, you know, and it's up to you whether you want to share it with the room or not. But I think, you know.
take a sniff and you can share it with the room.
I don't know if it is between you and God because you can't just sit. If you did it, if we were all at the hotel up the road having chicken parmesans and Matt had shat himself after a soup joke, at some point we're probably going to smell it. So it's not, you know,
What if I
it's
run
only
out?
between him and God if he hides the bodies, you know?
Yeah, I guess I just mean more about the story that you tell yourself, you know, like if
Yeah.
it didn't leave cheek, then I would tell myself I didn't shit myself just for my own sanity.
Well, I sort of said, I was like, nah, I didn't really shit myself. I sort of just had a little bit of it.
What would you call that then? I did
Uh,
a poo outside of my bum into my pants.
I don't know, wet fart.
yeah, like a wet fart. Yeah, like a shart maybe.
Like you sharted.
Had a
There you go.
little shart.
There's a difference between there has to be a difference between sharting and shitting.
But this is a GMat podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really.
Sharting is it's just diarrhea with noise.
Does it there have to be noise?
Well, that's what makes it the shart. Is the fart part is the noise.
But hang
part.
on, you can have a silent fart.
It's true.
So
It's a great
God,
point.
we're really
I think
breaking down.
That's a great point.
Yeah, we got event horizons. We got breaking down of sharts.
I think we should rebrand this as a science podcast.
A poo science podcast.
big questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's. I don't think I really shit myself, but a little something came out.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. Welcome to Shartcast.
You may notice a wedding ring on my finger.
I just noticed that then. You mentioned it.
Beck and I are playing a married couple in a show, and I don't like a ring. I don't like the feeling of the ring,
Me either.
and I got to get used to it because I know when I'm on stage I'm gonna be all ring because I'm just gonna know it's there. So I'm just trying to get used to forgetting about it.
Are you gonna scuff it up a bit?
I don't know.
I think you should.
That's
when the-
probably a good point because it is very shiny. Although one of the lines is, I can see that shiny wedding band from all the way over here.
True,
So.
true. It is shiny.
But you are going to take somebody's eye out with the light bounces off
I
of
don't
it.
think it's gonna do it.
I
now.
thought in the promo photos your Ricky Bobby shirt should have been dragged behind a car for a little while as well. Like it's
I do need to dirty up my entire costume. I think I'm just gonna go out and roll in some dirt.
You do have a big stain on the back, so you're well on your way.
Yeah, I'll just go work on the car later on and get
There
a
you
little bit
go,
of
nice
oil on there. Yeah, every now and again I think I have OCD. Like there's some tiny little things that are a bit.
Oh, you ain't right.
Oh yeah,
You're not right. Yeah.
yeah. The ring thing's a big one. I realize I'm like I don't like this. There's a lot of like texture things that I don't like.
Well, yeah, the same with me because I have a rock on the top, so I can't like rest my hand like that
Yeah,
and like
right.
fist bump. There's all these things that suddenly you can't do anymore. And
Let me pitch some. Let me pitch some things that I do. If you think of any that I do, because I know some fucking weird shit I do that, and you tell me at what point you also do it or at what point I'm crazy. Well, the ring thing's the big one. I just don't like the ring on my
yeah,
finger.
it's just you get used to it.
Okay.
It's just a new thing on your hand.
the running your hand through your hair thing after a shower is pretty weird.
That's true. My hands get dry, and after I have a shower, when my hands dry up, I can't stand that feeling. And because my hair's wet, I'll just run my hand. I'll do this and touch my hair to make sure my hands stay moist for as long as possible.
Right. Get some moisturizer.
Yeah, I can do that, but I also don't like moisturizer. I don't like the feeling of moisturizer. I sit there like this until it dries.
Yeah, it is probably one of the most autistic things I see you do.
This is the hair
And
thing.
if for some reason your hands are busy and you can't do it right at that moment, you're like, as soon as they're free, you're like, oh, thank God.
Here's one that I think this is something a lot of people do. This is a pretty gentle one, which is it's a clock thing. If there's a reason I don't have a clock in the house, and when I lived at home, this used to drive me crazy. If there's a clock in the house, I'll look at it just constantly,
Yeah.
all the time.
I do that.
Like I'm watching TV, I'm
Used
just
to do
going
that in school.
between TV and the clock and TV and the clock. And then I moved in with Bruce. We had the clock, and I was like, "Hey, this is a weird request. Can we get rid of the clock?" And they're like, "Well, why?" I was like, "I can't stop looking at it. I literally that's all I do all day." And my phone, if my phone's next to me, I just can constantly turn my phone over to see what the time is. But I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people can't keep their eyes off the time.
Yeah, I do that. Especially if I have an appointment, it could be 3 hours away, but I'll still be every 5 minutes like, oh, have I lost track of time? Is it suddenly 2:55? I need to be somewhere in 5 minutes.
I just want to know the time at all times.
So even if you have nothing on that whole day,
Yeah, I'll be checking time.
you just be looking at the time.
Well, I do it when I work. Always looking
Is
down.
there any accompanying thought of like how much of my day off is left or how long until my thing? Or is it just like 9/11? Huh. Interesting time.
Interesting number you picked there, Ben.
National tragedy.
What's on the
Because
mind?
you know what? I think probably 75% of the time that I look at a clock, the time is 9/11.
Really?
And the other 25% of the time, it's 4:20.
Explain
They're the
that
only
science.
2 times.
They're just the memorable ones. Have you ever been a watch guy?
I was a watch guy for a little while. And you know what? I don't think I ever got as... I never looked at the watch for the time. I still did the phone thing.
Just make sure your hand's connected to something.
What?
Still there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, do that thing where you go. Because
Yeah.
you look once and you're like, yeah, those were numbers. Wait, 3:30. Oh, 4:20. So you don't have that at all?
No, if there's a clock, you know, the ticking, it's not, I don't look at it and be like, what's the time? I'll just hear, I hear death, 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 death.
You're a few years on
Death.
from me.
Yeah, but even when I was a child,
You're just death.
staying at my grandparents' house, sleeping in the lounge room, I'd be like, death,
Death.
death. But not so much when I was a kid, it wasn't death, death, death. It was more like, it never goes backwards, huh? Ticking and the numbers and the hands just always go forwards.
So it's more like
It's
a
big long line.
It's like a
isn't it?
march towards death when you're saying death.
Yeah.
We're all marching
it's
towards
like, it's
death.
A
just-
second closer and another second.
Yeah. That one's gone. And all I was doing was sitting here looking at the clock.
And now you've made the most of your time by coming here on Tuesday afternoons
Don't draw attention to it.
to talk about poo. And we've spoken about this a bunch, but is the showering thing.
Yeah.
Cannot. The thing that I've been able to isolate, I think, in the last year is the fact that if I don't shower within an hour of going to bed, I need a shower.
I think you have a phobia of being smelly.
Kind of maybe.
I thought
think-
you'd already covered that. You reverse engineered. I don't know whether you reverse engineered or was the explanation, but you're just like, I'm a big guy, so I am extra paranoid about being stanky.
Yeah,
how you explain it to me.
But I wouldn't have called it a phobia.
No, but you're just hyper.
Yeah,
aware
I don't
of
want
it.
to be stinky. That's for sure.
It's a compulsion, though. There's something there. Because, like, if you go to bed outside of 1 hour from showering, are you just going to, like, I'm itchy. I can't sleep. What is it? What is
How
wrong
many
with this?
times have we been laying in bed and I've just
Doing
gone,
it.
and and I just throw the sheets up and go fuck, and I go,
You're not Ben.
Come on, that's I've
Yes.
done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I run into the.
He's not having any jokes then. Come on. Have I or have I not done that?
I just needed
the shower, Rebecca.
confirmation.
And I try and talk you down. I'm like, listen, you're fine. There's no difference between now and an hour ago.
I'm used to the smell.
It's just like, I feel sticky. I feel it's itchy.
Yeah.
I don't feel right.
But it's in your head.
Yeah,
it
and
must
then,
be.
And then I run into the shower and I just
Run
all
into
I do
the
is wet myself. Sometimes I don't even like wash because I'm like I washed an hour and 10
Only
minutes
wetting
ago.
yourself if it touches fabric, though.
What? Oh, fucking hell! I can't keep up today. I'm so dumb today. Yeah. So
Okay.
I know I did all the soap and did everything like an hour and 10 minutes ago. So I'll just wet myself and dry myself and get into bed. I'm like, I feel so much better.
See, I can't stand. I don't like to shower too close to bed because then my hair's all wet and then I'm like, I don't dry myself properly. And if I get into bed,
You
I'm like,
certainly don't.
everything's sticking to me. And
You
I
put
just-
clothes on and I'm like, you can see the wet where it's sticking on you from
I
the
just
clothes.
like it to be over.
It's so strange. That's why my towel's always drenched, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use yours. Did you just use this just now? And you're like, yep. Just wiping water away from your head. Fucking
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Sharing your clothes, bet.
Well,
and
then
they'll
I
take-
do-
Save washing
Yeah.
and time.
True. Much to think about.
Except the clothes are never fucking dry. Which isn't.
I went for a drive to the servo just before, and there was a car to the right of me that had three American flag bumper stickers. And they were, one was on the back, one was on the side mirror, and this I don't believe is legal, one was on the windscreen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it was a violently American looking lady driving. She's driving a Suzuki though. I'm not smart enough to know if that's ironic, but I think maybe it is.
So I guess we're just done with my OCD.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I was
fine.
trying a thing where I had a note and I brought it up. You
No,
know,
it's
you
good.
just got to be
It was
confident,
good.
man.
What did she look like? What made her American?
She looked stern and she looked like she'd
Ew.
want to speak to a manager.
Ooh.
You can't have a bumper sticker on your windscreen, can you?
It's not a bumper sticker anymore. It's a
A frumper sticker.
it's
It's
a
just a sticker.
yeah. What are those
What?
things that cover the window so you don't get sun hitting your shit or thing?
Louver.
Sure. What were you gonna say?
Why? What do you? The mirror? On the actual glass bit of the mirror, or just like on
No,
the
like
covering?
she had one on the back window, and then she had one on the side window, right next to
on
the
the side
mirror.
window. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I heard mirror for some reason.
I have such a disdain, and it's not always justified, but I have a disdain for anyone who's patriotic for any country.
Yeah.
Like if you're patriotic and you're Canadian, I guess so, because I don't know if there's anything wrong over there.
Even
There
the
is.
Ukraine, Matt.
Yeah, actually, you know what? If you want to be patriotic in the Ukraine,
no,
here's the thing:
you
I
said
support
it.
the
You said
Ukraine
it.
100%,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get back gay with Ben.
You support the Ukraine in their
any-
surrender to Russia. It's like you were saying before we started.
So American, Australian, anyone, French, I don't give a fuck. If you're
It's
like,
all, yeah.
if you're like, I'm red blooded or blue blooded. What are we? We don't say we're blue blooded, do we? That sounds weird.
I think Blue Bloods
I wouldn't
is rich
say any of
people.
I'm true blue.
True Blues.
I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just shut the fuck up. We've all got
Yeah.
problems, you know. Everyone's got problems. You didn't choose to be born here. Stop acting like it's a fucking
Thing.
anyways, a thing.
Yeah. No, I don't really understand nationalism at all.
It's embarrassing. It makes me not.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess you might miss your country, I guess, but I don't understand having 3 American flags on your car in fucking Melbourne. Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
But you need to advertise it outwardly facing to everyone.
In fact, most people are going to look at you and go, oh, a fucking American.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
actually, thank you so I know to give you a wide berth, lady.
Land of the brave. I'm the brave.
I'm driving a Suzuki. That means fucking freedom.
Freedom, baby. Freedom. Yeah, anyone who cries at their flag, I want to punch in the face.
Cries at their flag?
People cry at their flag. Have you ever been to? I went to the marching out ceremony because my brother was in the defence force, and
That's a great insult.
Mum made me.
To be like, oh, fucking go cry your flag.
There's a lot of people crying. I'm not talking about people in like get-ups. If you're an army person and you've got a thing on and your buddy died and you want to cry at a flag, do whatever
You're
you
crying
want.
at the flag, then, are you? It's the symbolism
yeah.
of like what it all meant and what
Look,
you sacrificed.
I'm not going to go punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But when there's just some guy over here in a suit and he's like, greatest country on earth, I'm like, shut up.
On what metric?
What do you mean?
On what metric are you the greatest country on earth? Fucking just freedom. What does
Bunnings.
that mean? What the fuck are you talking about?
Saturday Bunnings.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Thanks.
We got them. Freedom sausages.
Jimmy Burns.
Jimmy Bones.
What do you mean he's Scottish? Fuck.
Come on, man.
It's hot. It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's fucking hot. In fact, it's so.
Oh, we got the Southern Cross in the sky.
Southern
What do you mean
Cross.
half the world can see it as well?
It's our Southern Cross.
It is interesting that we've co-opted that as ours when literally all of the Southern Hemisphere can see those stars.
I never thought about that. Who's in the Southern Hemisphere? Anyone important? or just those fucking weird little countries?
You know the globe?
They come down. You know those weird island countries? No, I can't say that. They've all got weird names and they've got tiny land masses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which my backyard was a country too. Australia! Can everyone see it?
Can everyone see?
Can everyone in the Southern... I'm trying to picture the Southern Hemisphere.
I think that's how the sky works.
Well, I guess isn't that on like the New Zealand flag as well, but it's red?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's a shitload of stuff in the Southern Hemisphere.
There's like loads. Think about all that ocean.
Yeah.
Really?
The
The
bottom
ocean
half
should
of
claim it.
America.
Really? Oh, I guess that makes
Does America make it into the southern part?
South America. Some of that
Oh.
does.
But is that because they're on the line, or is that just they're the south part of America?
No, they're below the line.
Oh, okay, that's
And
interesting.
then you got some of the African places. They come down pretty low.
South Africa?
Pretty much all of Asia, I think.
Yep, most of Asia.
Well, what the fuck are we doing? We got nothing. What do we have?
Southeast Asia, definitely. That's
sure?
the Asia bit that
Yep.
comes down pretty low.
Absolutely.
What do we got going on?
Not a lot. To be honest, we are the less important as far as geopolitical global blah blahs go.
Yes.
We're the lesser important.
But isn't it
ones.
so interesting how
If it was North v South hemispheres, we'd get whooped pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
The-
Nobody thinks about us.
the
No.
political, I don't know, not brainwashing, but I can't think of a better word, of our government has made me think that it's like us, USA,
We're on the bottom.
that who else? And I guess, 2 years ago was Russia. They were like, it's Russia, USA, and Australia. We're the three big uns. Get the fuck out of our way. Who was it? No, who was? I'm trying to think who it was when it was ScoMo was taking a picture, and he was shaking hands with Trump, and then there was someone else.
Would have been maybe China. I don't know.
It might have been China. Either way, we were meant to feel like I was like, oh, we're a pretty big deal geopolitically.
Geopolitically.
Well, we got some shit in the ground.
And then there's that picture of ScoMo like off to the side on his phone while every other country's leaders are over here going, what a fucking loser.
Oi, quick, what's the French PM's name again?
Even Donald Trump was fucking giving him a shady eyes. No one wanted to talk to us.
But that would have been like, who's that guy over there? It wouldn't have been like, where are your manners? Why's that guy not trying to shake my hand?
What were you going to say then? You were saying something.
Was I here?
And then I started laughing about that picture of ScoMo.
As far as who's the big players.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're kind of like a classy. We don't have a huge population comparatively or whatnot, but we got some political sway just because we've got a bunch of shit in the ground, and we sold China a port up north forever.
We spent all those billions of dollars on torpedoes that pissed off the French. You know what's
Torpedoes.
fun? Whatever it was, I can't remember.
Submarines.
It was fun. It was submarines. That was it. I remember thinking.
Same shape.
I remember thinking, I'm like, because all my everyone I work for is French.
Yeah.
And living in France, and I remember. I can't. This is such a shit story because I can't remember the punchline. But I remember being like, I wonder if there's gonna be like any animosity. And I was like, I'm just gonna. And then one of them messaged me was like, how them torpedoes or like something like that. And it was funny. I was like, okay,
That's
cool,
good, that's
cool,
good.
cool.
I don't think your average Joe, that doesn't mean anything to you, a normal person.
It means as much to the French as it does to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we just talking about then?
Have a drink of water. You got cotton mouth.
Oh, thank you. I'm dry.
I'm here for you.
I'm dry. I'm unwell.
We got to hydrate. We got a show to do.
So that's why Aiden's not here.
Good
He's
Lord.
at Prod Week. Sorry. I'm trying to moisten up. He's at Prod Week. We're doing Prod Week as well for another show. Everyone's Prod Week in it.
Would you like to explain what Prod Week means?
It's just like the show opens this weekend, so we're in
the theatre for the first time tonight.
It's going to be cool.
I've never
Looking
seen
forward
it from the back, so.
Everything looks better from the back. Women. Books. Blurb.
Bumper stickers.
NASCAR. You know what have them coming at you.
True.
Bumper stickers.
Horse
of course.
races.
Horse races, yeah. Bullets. Don't want to be in front of those bad boys.
To be fair, they look cooler from the front, NASCAR and bullets, but you don't want to see them from that angle.
Very
Exactly.
briefly, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can see the theatre from the side. Maybe that's the best place to see it because I want to see
Sword.
NASCAR from the side. To tell you about when I was at school at grade 6, went to the Grand Prix and because it goes like the Formula One. Formula One's fucking loud.
What do they sound like?
And I remember my friend Jack going down to the fence, and I was like, I don't want to go down there. They're pretty loud. I'm going to stay back here. And I saw him in the distance go up, and the car comes past, and all I see is him turn around, tears running down his face, running back to us, like, just because he's a kid and it was loud,
Yeah.
so he started crying.
It's funny, kid, where like you just something's so loud, you just overwhelmed, and your sister just goes, doo-doo-doo-doo. You're like, Mom!
Yeah. Sorry, what were we talking about? There's going to be a lot of that today. I don't know
Your
what we're
friend's
talking
brain
about.
going off.
Oh, that's right. I got OCD.
Okay.
No, that's all I could think of before about the OCD was the shower thing. Maybe I
So
can't.
you just need to shower a lot and put your hands in your hair.
Yeah, and I definitely
It's all shower
can't shit
adjacent.
after I've showered. Like I can't shower,
could.
then shit, then go to bed.
You don't. Well, yeah, I know, but that plays into your whole showering thing.
Yeah, it's all related.
Because if you don't want to have any body odor from sweating, you definitely don't want shit all around you. So
True.
You've got a thing about when you eat dinner and watching stuff.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
Like we can't watch anything serious while you're eating. It's got to be a comedy.
it's got to be
Or
dinner
YouTube.
It is
laughs.
weird, but it used to be worse. It used to be a lot worse. I could only watch Modern Family and eat.
Do you have to have all your vegetables and shit separated? What do you mean?
It
It was the same episode every night as well.
No.
Peas start at 4 minutes 15.
No. Yeah. that was
When
the-
Manny says, "Can I help you with that?" Then we start on chicken tenders.
We might be going backwards then.
Because we are watching Modern Family
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Is your brain okay?
It's just I don't like watching. I have no reason. It's always
gotta-
like
you gotta
I
focus
don't
on your
have.
food.
I can't think of a reason why it is. I don't like to watch serious stuff while I eat.
I think it's just because you enjoy food and you want your focus to be mostly on that. And if you have
Just
to
have
pay
a little
attention
gag.
to a narrative,
Because you want a happy little tummy.
I
You're like,
do.
Yeah, I
this
think it's
is cool.
sweet. I think it's sweet.
I also-
Because if you're watching like the
This thing?
staircase or something,
Yeah.
you're just going to stress out. You're telling you like, oh no, is she going to be okay? I
Is she
can't
gonna-
even eat this anymore.
Is she gonna be okay?
That's the only time it annoys. Like usually I'm fine. I think it's cute. But yes, when I'm super into a show, I'm like, let's watch the next staircase. And you're like, but I have to wait till my tendies are done.
But I'm always like, just watch one, or even like until I'm done eating.
Battle of the disabilities.
I also do this thing where I don't like having my shirt touch my tummy.
Yeah.
I always pull on my always
That's
pull on
just
my-
a self-conscious thing, though, isn't it?
I don't know. There's a texture
I
thing.
think
There's
so.
some clothes that I don't like wearing that really I throw off. Oh, when I get my hair cut. Cannot get my hair cut and not shower immediately. Impossible.
It's just
Itchy.
showering.
They always say, you want to put some product in your hair? I'm like, I'm literally going home to shower because I can feel the tiny hairs everywhere. They're all over me.
That's fair enough. But that itchy feeling is. You know, people like they do like Navy SEAL training or something, or they've got like some sort of injury that they've sustained in sport, and the pain, like their femur's cracked or some shit, and the pain is so severe, they're just like, just fucking kill me, just kill me now. And you're like, that's a stage you can get to where it's so bad you just can't see through the fog of the pain. That's the same with the getting the haircut and having the itchy bits down the back. If they're like, all right, we've finished cutting your hair. Now you have to go to work for 8 hours. Like, whoa, no shower first? I'm like, no, your shift starts now. We're putting you on work now. Like, well, just fucking kill me.
I'd be like, throw me through the glass.
Yep.
And if that doesn't kill me, take a piece of glass and put it through my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful. I didn't like when you just said 8 hours. The second you said 8 hours, something happened inside me that I didn't enjoy.
It's a time commitment. I'm taking 8 hours from now. Even if it was just like, we can give you $100,000, but you have to sit in this room and look at a wall for 8 hours. It's like, wait, the whole 8? That's just accounted for? That time's gone? Fucking death. Death.
So Michael Peterson definitely killed Kathleen Peterson.
Show your workings.
Whew.
Hang on.
It's-
Have you...
Yeah, I've come over.
I didn't know about this.
What's
Was it-
Because
swayed
I've
you?
been talking your ear off all week about it. Doing my little research.
During our last conversation about it, that was when I went, yeah.
I trot over to you through the day and I'm like, and the 911 call, the really interesting thing about that. Okay, bye.
Funny because my memory of our conversation about it is like, yeah. I mean, look at his face. His fucking rat face.
Yeah.
He did it.
That is how I
Here's the
opened.
thing.
But
For
I
the-
feel like I backed it up.
We've talked about this on the podcast before, but for those who don't know, there's a documentary called The Staircase. Michael Peterson's wife gets found at the bottom of the stairs dead, and it kind of looks like he did it.
Mark Peterson, the famous writer.
Is he that famous?
I knew who he was before the
Did you
documentary.
really?
I've
Michael
seen his books
Peterson,
on bookshelves.
The failed local council candidate.
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
we've got some of his books. I think growing up they were on our shelves.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Definitely knew his name.
Anyways, so his wife gets found at the bottom of the stairs. She's super bloody, and then there's his defense who are like she fell, and then the prosecution were like he definitely killed her. That's the whole thing. He does eventually get prosecuted, and they say it, and then he gets out a lot later on because through a plea. So he does serve his time and then has a plea, and he's fine. Anyways, so there's a documentary about that whole thing that's really fucking good. Definitely go watch it. But now there's a television show with Colin Firth playing him and Toni Collette playing Kathleen, and it's I really
Chris D'Elia's Staircase.
I really liked it.
Oops.
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 I'm enjoying it a lot. We're waiting for Thursday for the final episode.
I think the most fascinating thing about it is that so many people feel so strongly on both sides. It's like, it's just people are just split down the middle, and people, I've been one of them. I've ping-ponged
Yeah,
back
that's-
and forth. Like, you just fucking don't know. It's crazy.
First time I saw the documentary, I remember going, he's guilty. Second time I saw the documentary, I was like, oh, he's innocent.
I'm pretty sure the first time I watched it, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, no, I didn't always think he was a rat-faced little fuck. I believed him the first time. And then the more I read about it, the more I'm like, oh, there's no excusing any of this, actually.
And now, when we started the show, I was still on that he didn't do it. And it is very interesting the way that because they put the documentary crew into the narrative of the fictionalized show.
Which is crazy because if you go back, I've just started watching the documentary again.
Really?
You can see the film crew doing the dramatization with Colin Firth and Toni Collette. So it's all sort of cross-pollinated. It's like that Harry Potter where they go back in time.
They did do that cool thing, which I've seen in other shows. Like, first one I think it was The Interview where James Franco played What's-His-Face, where they have to recreate something that was already done.
Yeah.
And so they've got filmed things of the documentary in the show, but then Colin Firth has to recreate it or Tony Collette or whatever.
Yeah, and they get that film grain going.
yeah,
and it looks really good.
really good. And Colin Firth is doing a fucking bang up job, I think.
I tell you what, he's ruining Colin Firth for me.
I think he's making it better. That scene when they were in the
Spoilers.
She's dead. When he went into the room, the porno room, and he started jacking off that guy, I was like, damn, I want to jack Ben off. I remember thinking, I was like, yeah, that was.
What are those boys doing? They playing H1Z1 in there?
you didn't want to watch it. Now you've started watching it.
No, I didn't.
I bullied you. We both bullied you.
I
started.
watched the first half of the first episode. I was like, this is pretty corny. They're really playing it up and like
They do ham it.
staircase. It would be like, Heather, can you take those books up the staircase? It was just so
It was like another
we
character.
know what's going to happen. The thing's called the staircase. It's a fucking murder trial. You don't have to foreshadow that badly. Well, this is a great family that we have and nothing is ever going to go wrong. Kathleen is in the peak of health. Kathleen, could you go up the staircase? I was like, it was just too much. I was like, he was doing a good job though. I'll go back and I always intended to go back to it. I was watching something else at the same time. And the other thing, the Ozarks came out.
Oh, yes.
And I went back to Ozarks for the thrilling conclusion of that. And I was like, I'll watch Ozarks and then I'll come back to it and finish Ozarks.
I feel like we need to talk about Ozark, the way you said thrilling conclusion.
Also, do you say you go to Blockbusters like Michael Peterson does? Because you're calling it Ozarks.
What's the Ozarks?
We went to Blockbusters, America's Sweethearts.
I went and watched Arrested Development in the Ozarks.
In the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you feeling about it now?
Well, this is the thing is that I deliberately was like, I'm not taking any of this on board. I'm just going to watch it as a TV show and know that it all really happened in the broad strokes of like, they are a family. These people exist as characters. And she died in pretty much whatever way they depict. Mm-hmm. But as far as, the conversations that they have in between and the private shit that, Michael and his brother being like, well, I'm very bisexual, blah, 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 all that stuff. I don't know why it sounds like Alex Jones. But they're coming in here hiding shit that's making me freaking gay.
I think sometimes
Making the owls gay.
I take particular things, like the things about the daughter, like when a daughter's alone and she's like feeling some things. I'm like, well, there's no way they could recreate that.
They couldn't know. Or the fight with the family. I'm like, did this really happen? Where they all start getting at each other's throats, and he comes in and he's like, God damn it, enough of this shit. I'm like,
well, he took a lot of they took a lot of narrative stuff out of the books that he wrote as well, that Michael Peterson wrote about the staircase. So anytime he's having a conversation, or like that stuff in prison where he like throws a plate, I'm like, that definitely seems like something he would have put in his book.
That he made up to make
so
himself
if
look
they
like a
want to
guy.
take that as
poetic license.
or if they want to, if that's the truth that he's written and they want to take that, I'll accept that as a truth.
Yeah. because everything that you take as the truth or dramatization all gets filtered into, and therefore what do I think is whether she was murdered or not. Because everything kind of gets folded into that. So I'm just like, none of this I'm going to let affect my opinion about what I objectively think happened to her. But I'll take it as a nice story and know that these are the people that, and this is the family dynamic in its most basic form. But, him arguing with certain people at certain times, I'm not going to take on board and let it influence whether I think he did it or not.
Yeah, it feels like an intellectual exercise. Like, well, what would they be like behind closed doors if we take everything that we understand about them?
But there's also the film crew stuff. That's the stuff that I want to know more about, and I'm hoping is accurate. I'm not the actual conversation stuff. Although there is one thing that made me change my view on whether he was guilty or not, was when they recreated, because they show the different ways she could have died throughout the show. When they did the recreation of him actually killing her, and I saw it in whatever way they did it, because in the staircase, in the documentary, they never quite gave you a good vision of how she could have died unless it was being beaten by the blowpoke.
Yeah,
but when
which is not what happened.
When he choked her and he slammed her, I was like, I never thought about it like that, and it just opened my brain up to a different possibility and a different way it could have gone down. And I was like, I shouldn't take that as narrative or gospel or truth or anything like that.
That's the whole thing. Because if you're not there, and if at no point a photo comes out of, Peterson holding her head with blood in his hands, being like a paparazzi shot through the window with a little sign he's holding up saying, I'm killing her right now, then we're never going to objectively know. So that's the prosecution and the defense just have to build the most credible picture.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the prosecution didn't
They
build a
didn't.
good
No, they
job.
fucked the whole thing
It's
up.
lucky that he
They
went to
fucking
jail
trashed
based on
it.
that
I
because they
reckon.
sucked.
The defense built a really good view of how she could have gotten hurt from the stairs, which I think is what convinced me that he was innocent and that it was all just bad timing with personal life and everything
think
like that. But seeing a television show give a better view of what could have happened than those fucking idiots.
Well, I think because so much time's passed now and they've really like got all the shit together, that the prosecution seemed to reverse engineer the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like they got so desperate with like, well, then it was a hollow weapon if her head's like the cracking her head on the stair is a way more credible thing. But the SBI was like, well, we think probably a hollow thing because that's why she doesn't have skull fractures. Like, oh, we'll just go around, hit a sponge with a bunch of
Yeah,
hollow
the
shit until you find the
sponge.
thing that
What is a sponge
Yeah.
gonna do?
just until you can like reverse engineer myth confirmed. Just do what you got to do. And they're like, we found a thing that will work. All right, cool. Well, that will be what we'll run on then.
That Dwayne guy might be the most accurate casting in the whole.
Yeah, the casting's good.
The guy who does the thing and he's like, well, let me look, and we did that. Like, it was so. I was like, that guy is such a fucking dweeb. You're gonna get fired.
As much as I do firmly believe Michael Peterson did it one way or another, that first reenactment of her falling, it still stays with me because it's so possible. Like it could have happened. I don't think it did, but that happens to people every single day. You just slip down a stair and hit your head the wrong way and you're dead, or you're seizing or whatever. It was really, I don't know, did that disturb anybody else more than any of the other reenactments? The first one was the one that really
It's
fucked
pretty
me.
heavy. It's heavy. And from the start, and I don't know anything about forensic, blah, 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 so I don't know what I'm talking about. When they're like, they're like she coughed blood on this wall, and that's what I'm like, did she have a mouthful of blood? Like there's
There was no blood.
much-
No. On the autopsy report, which they never really talked about. There was no blood in her mouth in the autopsy. She can't have spit blood up.
Okay, yeah, because the whole thing was like going, cough blood up on this wall, cough blood up there. I'm like, those walls are painted. Like someone got a roller and fucking painted blood all over the walls. And you think she coughed? Some of their stuff was really weak. Also, that they didn't address any of the blood in the rest of the house at all. So it was still just blood in different places.
Where else was the blood in the rest of the house?
Well, it's blood on the outside of the. So she falls in the staircase. On this side, outside of the staircase, there was blood on the walls.
Like cast off. And there's also the blood on the front door, and I think there were a couple of blood drops outside on the
Well, I
front.
mean, that's Al then.
Yeah.
Could be the owl.
I do like the owl theory a lot. And especially that it's fucking Hitchcock from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Being like, yeah, blood. I was like, oh
Big
my
break.
God. Yeah.
I think the thing about her falling and watching her fall and being like, damn, that's so plausible, is because it could happen to anybody and it could happen to me. Whereas, like, I'm going to try my best in my life to not marry a psychopath who I think is possible, who's capable of killing me.
It's fine. I'm going to marry Ben.
I'm going to try my best not to live in a place with owls, but I can't do anything about
Just tripping
falling
over shit.
down and hitting my head, you know.
Which you are at a higher risk
I'm very
than the average
clumsy,
person.
so yeah.
You can get one of those old people chairlifts that are just like.
Which is, they have one of those. There's one of those in the staircase.
I think we just get one of those narcolepsy helmets.
Yeah.
So everybody goes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Just a
Honestly.
bodysuit.
You look like a black egg walking around.
You should just walk around in those tires that you have at like when you have muck up day at your school and the sumo, you run into each other. Those big inflatable sumo suit things.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. But there's a lot of compelling stuff that Beck's been reading that she shared to me. I was like, that is very.
I think I've
interesting.
shared it with him too. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just a lot of that. I didn't know about the blood on the outside. That's very interesting. Also, that they were unbelievably in debt. You didn't tell me that, but I remember seeing that somewhere. Like crazy in debt.
Wasn't it only like 150 grand or something?
No, it was
Yeah.
debt. They had no money.
Yeah, I think that number is right, but yeah, I think it probably felt. I mean, also you got to take into account it was 2001, so it'd be more money then than it is now.
Oh, and all that stuff about her work is accurate.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of it could have been dramatized, but I mean, we'll never really know whether he was pressuring her to stay in that job or not. We can assume
No, I
possibly
mean
he
about
was.
her, like their work situation where he was not making any money at the time. And she
That's
was
true. That's demonstrably true. You can
Yes.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also in the documentary, even though it's hard because the film crew are like, this is not accurate. They did not have a relationship when we were editing the film. And I'm like,
You would say that.
yeah, you would say that. There's no, like, the documentary is definitely biased towards him, I think, when I watch it. I mean, obviously it is. It's about him. He's the main
Have
character.
you watched it again since watching the show?
I've watched it twice. I haven't watched it since watching the show.
I watched it once and I've just started it again.
I think maybe we'll watch it again when the last episode comes
But even
out.
when I watched it back, I thought it was biased towards him, and it would have to be for me to believe that he didn't kill. He's definitely killed his wife, because it's a super, like all the cards are stacked against him.
They just give him a lot of space to waffle, and if he's given room to manipulate, he will.
How long after she died did they start filming the documentary?
According to the show, it was it seemed longer because they worked out that he
Because
was
they're there for the
bisexual.
start of the trial and everything.
Yeah, all the
yeah.
blood and everything is still there on the staircase when they
It seems like they left that
when they
there
show up.
too
Yeah.
long.
They
I
came
think
in.
it's been I think it was a couple of months maybe.
Because
I
the
don't
way,
think- I didn't
even
think it
in
was
the
that long.
first episode, which, that could have been filmed at any point that they've just decided to edit that as the first thing. But he's doing the whole spiel of like, well, and we went to Blockbusters and we
would go outside and we would talk about
watched
this.
and we watched this film and then we came out and sat down and probably here, maybe just a little bit over there, and then Kathleen went inside and then I sat out here, and then it's like it's so matter of fact. It's none of that's conclusive, and I'll have to watch more of it, but I don't know.
He is a weird dude. That makes it really hard to
That's the
trust
thing.
him.
That's why I think
His
that's why
vibes
people
are so fucking
yeah.
awful and
That's
weird.
why it's so interesting because he's such a hard nut to crack.
And there's that thing where they're like, yeah, she's been dead for quite a while, and he definitely from the original or not autopsy, the original report, whatever they did, they were like, that doesn't seem like he called the
Hours passed.
hours had passed before he called the ambulance.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't think that ever really gets addressed by either
There's
the
a lot
prosecution.
of things. Yeah, a lot of little details like that I think are pretty damning that nobody ever looks at.
These are the things when I hear this stuff is that, like, if it was that damning and obvious, the prosecution would have covered it. Because as much as they were kind of inept in some ways, shit like that is pretty, cut and dry.
I think
and obvious.
I think it was included in the original evidence, but they just for some reason didn't spotlight certain things that, I mean, I'm not a fucking lawyer, so for me to go, that bit seems important doesn't mean that they would think the same thing.
And isn't it often that some things are so seem so substantial, but then there's like one minute detail that means that they can't bring
Like
it,
it's inadmissible?
can't put it forward or something like that.
Yeah, but something like that, the circumstances of her death, surely that's...
Yeah.
Because there's no reason that, like, the fucking red platelets or whatever in her brain that had
The red
mentioned
neurons. Yeah.
neurons that she'd been dead for longer. There's no reason, because that's not like prejudicial or like anything that they would say like, oh, that doesn't actually explain anything. We can't have that included. Unless they would somehow work out a way that it would be irrelevant. It would be something like, usually the stuff would be like they would do the red neurons thing. And the way usually that shit you would see happen in the true crime stuff is like they go, oh, red neurons, it means she had to have been dead for this long. And then defense will go, actually, we have a scientist here who's an expert who says that red neurons can show up after 15 minutes. And then they go, oh, well, okay,
Yeah.
that doesn't actually prove anything anymore.
There is a bit of that going on the Reddits that I saw.
Yeah.
Everybody can agree that it takes at least half an hour for them to form in your brain. But
So there you go. That's
yeah.
half an hour is about
So
what he said.
nobody knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
I think we need to do a side podcast where
Just about this.
we do finish this show, we all watch the documentary again, then we go to the primary sources and we do a little digging, do this fucking thing properly.
Yeah.
Bogan Staircase.
That
There you
sounds
go.
like fun.
Yeah, I'm looking. Are you up to date? Have you watched it or did you give up?
No, I'm up to date.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
because you
I
messaged me
binged
and you're
that
like,
shit.
that's it?
That last when she went up into the ceiling and started like
Oh, that was
take care of the
silly.
bats.
Yeah, it's like, was she going to become a fucking superhero now?
Sorry, is this Ghostbusters?
It was so
Yeah.
dumb. That was, I think, in a ranking list of the dumbest things that have happened on the show, I think that was pretty dumb. That made me really get taken out of the whole thing.
And then this one,
The sister-
with the blowpoke on the cushion.
The sister
Oh,
realizing
yeah,
she'd
that-
found the blowpoke.
Fucking blowpoke!
That motherfucker! I was like,
Well, she
okay.
just suddenly decided
Yeah,
that that's
just
what
saw
it was.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sure that's how it went down.
wait, I have a blowpoke. They have a blowpoke. It's like if they had a house that just had just a couch and a blowpoke, I'd be like, I could see how she got there. But there's a million other things in the house and also
a
a
big house.
staircase where all the blood in her head was. And he's like, oh, it's the thing that wasn't there. And then the daughter goes through the video and she's like, yeah, that shit's been gone for ages. We haven't had that for years.
Very fucking dumb.
And then the cops tip the whole joint over and the son's trying to get the car started. And he's like, maybe I'll use this blowpoke to try and touch the bat. Wait a minute.
What?
I think that was that'd be number 3. That was the next one I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Was
Well,
the
this-
scene with the son fixing the car and then being like, "What's that behind me, Dad? Dad!"
All right, sorry to everybody who doesn't watch this stuff.
And then probably fourth ranking is the son with all the blood in the hotel room, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I killed somebody."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Shut up! That never
I thought I
happened."
also killed my part. I mean, I thought I killed my partner, like no one else in my family has done.
Where's Sansa Stark in the show?
Huh?
Nothing.
You don't
Oh,
like
yeah.
you don't like that casting.
Yeah.
I thought she did okay.
no, I think she's good.
You think she doesn't look like Margaret?
I
No,
yeah.
she doesn't.
She looks nothing like her.
She's much prettier. I mean, they're both tall and lanky and redheads.
It was
the real
only-
Margaret's got a huge schnoz.
She does have a big schnoz. It was only because you said to me something like, "Oh no, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that."
Okay.
Let's not.
I don't know where that was going to go.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I bet that was real good though.
Oh, well.
The,
Tell me after.
What about Schwarzenegger's kid? You a fan of him?
I think he's good because
Yeah.
he has the vibe and the look.
I was like, I'm not going to buy this, but then he came in like that first scene where the cops are there, and it's like he walks. He's like, "Dad, what just happened? What's happened to my mother, my stepmother?" I thought he did a good. It was very believable the way he's like shouting and freaking out.
I won't leave it there actually because now people are going to speculate what I was thinking. I was having a bit of a complaint, which I myself sort of went along the workings to work out that I was like I might have just been being a dipshit, which was where I was like, why is this guy black when the actual person is
right.
white?
Yeah.
I said, why did they cast a black man when the actual person is white? It seems like I don't know. I
Just for the sake of it.
whatever thought I had, I ended up going back on and being like, no,
It is interesting though, because everyone would have fucking lost their minds if he was black and they cast him as white.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, what are they doing?
And everything else seemed to be so detail perfect.
Well,
It's
that's-
like, why
They tried
change
to make everyone
that?
else look the same.
That's
Yeah.
that's when I went. I was like they're trying to get so accurate. They've cast this black person. I thought they were doing it. I can't think of the word. I thought they were doing it to, I guess, win like brownie points for being diverse.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? He is one of the characters that I like the most. He's doing a good job, even if he's not the right skin color. And then I was like,
Skinned.
skin color. And then I went, actually, you know what? Sansa looks nothing like her person.
Yeah, but they try and get a likeness. There's
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the only what's his name? Colin Firth looks nothing like Michael.
He doesn't look nothing like him.
But he's just another old white dude, and he's
Yeah.
like got a rounder face. Like I really think they look nothing alike. I think my brain was just being.
But you get
whingy.
people that will be able to do the part and fit the part, and you get as close as you can to them looking like the person to try and recreate it.
Yeah, I just
And
wonder how if you were like, there's two people that they do it to that I can think of. One is the documentary maker, and one is Ron, who's the defense. The other guy, David Rudolph's right hand man. I just feel like if you were them, what, would you not feel a bit like, well, why'd you do that to me and not to anybody else? Like,
What
it's
did
not
he-
like it's a bad thing, but,
But
it's
then
just,
I'm saying
it's
like
just strange.
I didn't want to.
It's
I
weird
didn't want to
that,
say
like-
that. Do that. Like, why'd you cast one of them?
Yeah.
It's like
no,
that.
no, but like,
uh,
if you're going to a T to match all of these other actors, and then you just decide to pick this one and this one that we're just gonna race change, like why?
It's like
just
if
what?
one of the characters, like, let's say, fucking MP himself, Michael Peterson, it's like, yeah, you got all the bias stuff, but we're just gonna make you straight. Like, but why? That's not how it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Although that has like strict story implications.
Yeah.
But like his
Yeah.
brother, let's say his brother, if they were both bi, and they're having those conversations, they go, well, we're just gonna make the brother's bi, but we're just gonna make him straight. Like, why? It's not.
It's just not accurate.
Doesn't really make a huge difference, but it's.
No. And, both those actors are great. I really like the documentary. Jean, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I like.
It's
him.
not
He's-
my problem isn't actually with the casting. It was like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
I was like, are they doing that for a reason, a negative reason?
That guy does have a very specific vibe, and maybe they know that actor has done a role like that, and they're like, oh, who'd be really good for this?
You're talking about the
Documentary maker.
oh, yeah.
Because
And
I think they do a really good job with him and the editor of that wishy-washy artsy French thing without it
Yeah.
sounding too pompous. Like
Yeah,
it does
they are
kind
good.
of, it works. It's art wank, but it's like, it makes sense.
yeah.
I like it. I like that.
And
whole-
he's really fucking likable, and I think we need to like him. I probably brought in a bunch of white French people. And like, I hate all of you.
Oh, no.
Smooth transition.
All right.
They pay the rent. Yeah, that yeah. The white French guy script is shit. I will not say these words. I'm saying my own words.
Anyway, let's get off the staircase.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
sorry,
move on.
listeners.
My mum was telling me about my niece is in trouble at the moment at daycare. My niece
Oh, no.
she's like 3.
Oh.
She's at daycare.
Getting into the till again.
Flogging money.
Yeah.
No, she's
Look at the books.
she's been biting, pulling, scratching, punching, like hurting everyone else.
WWE over there.
Yeah, but my mum was telling me about it, so she's doing this, and then I went in to pick her up, and the lady in charge of the nursery was like, "So, I got to make up a name for my." I'm sure I've said it on the podcast before, but let's say her name's Sarah. So Sarah's been blah blah blah, and my mum was like, "Oh, it just went red," and I was like, "What? Why?" Like, "Oh, I just don't like it when people talk bad about my like kids, like my grandkids and that."
A little clan.
It's like, it's my mum's least. It's probably my mum's worst quality is her just blind.
That's my fucking family.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
her blind love and.
And what were those children doing to deserve it?
Exactly. Yeah, she's done that. She did that with me with that mediation.
Yeah, she's
session.
thrown hands for you before, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She smacked somebody's mum.
When we. Oh yeah.
Or a teacher or something?
The mum who locked me up. But that was that. I think that was justified.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fucking psychopathic.
And I do think I do think my teacher was in the wrong in this circumstance where we had to do a mediation session. But I remember being like there's me and my mum sitting side by side, then my the assistant principal, and then on the other side of the table was the teacher, and we're having the mediation session. And the teacher said something like, "You know what? It's just Matt is a distraction in class, and it affects the kids around him. And I was just trying to like something like that." Mum was like, "Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch," like that sort of thing. And my assistant teacher had to be assistant principal was like, "Okay, well let's just calm it down." And then
we're going to set up a mediation next week for you and the teacher now. And Matt, you're going to have to be the impartial guardian there to mediate that.
And it was something else. It was like that. And then within like 10 minutes, she said something else that was like, maybe Matt would get better results in the classroom if he wasn't. I think she's saying she was claiming that I was copying work off my my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which I've revealed that I cheated on my exam and all that sort of stuff. I would have no issue saying that I was cheating in this class, but at no point did I ever copy my girlfriend's work, or did my girlfriend allow me to copy her work?
Was she copying off you?
No.
Why would they assume that you were copying then?
Because our answers were very similar. And I'm like, yeah, we study together.
Soulmates.
And it's like a question. It's fucking high school.
Yeah.
They ask a thing and you quote the thing out of the textbook. Of course our answers
There's
were
only
going to
so
be
many
similar.
ways you can answer.
And then we ended up getting the results. That's what started the mediation session, was we had the results and I matched it up with like 5 other people in the class. And I was like, all of these are just as close. And she pinpointed me because I was dating the girl and that was an easy thing.
Right.
That's what kicked the whole thing off. I was like, I'm clearly being biased against. And then she said something like that. And my mum, I wish I could remember what my mum said. It was something like, "I'm going to pull you out of this room by your hair, bitch." Like something really violent. "I will pull you out of this room by your fucking teeth." Like something like my mum, she did the same. When my brother, this could get her in trouble. This is the statute of limitations.
The teachers union might be listening.
My brother, who's in his 30s now, when he was in prep, so he's like 6 years old. This is in the 90s, and there's a kid bullying him at school. My mum knows the kid that's bullying him. My mum drops him off at school, sees the kid, sees no one's around, goes up to the primary school kid, and says, this 6-year-old boy gets in his face and goes, "You ever hurt my son again, and I'll rip your fucking head off," and walks away.
Solved the problem?
It did.
Nice one.
And then they became really good friends.
Your mum and this kid?
No, my brother and the kid.
Okay.
And I remember her telling us that story like so prideful.
Be like, your mum said she was going to rip my head off. Yeah, man, she says that shit to me all the time. Don't worry about it. You want to play some PlayStation?
I'll play some PlayStation. Well, back then it was a Sega, probably.
Sega.
I bet that boy grew up to have a real mum kink, like some sort of weird thing.
Tell me
Tell me you're going to rip my head off.
Rip my fucking head off. Oh, I fucking love
Now
it.
him and Matt's brother live together and they share a bed, but they don't have sex. They just play H1Z1.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, my mum's crazy. So watch out, Beck. No, that's the one thing she's good at is ex-girlfriends and that.
What?
Sorry, it's in my brain.
Buying a shovel and a bag of lye.
It's in my brain because the first girlfriend I ever broke up with, her family was really awful to me. The second we broke up with, actually the second girlfriend was the same way. Holly's parents were fucking atrocious when we broke up. Obviously with the whole fridge. Yeah, fuck her. Fuck her and her dad, Andrew. Yeah. And then, but my mum's always like, you know, let us know if you need anything and blah, blah, blah. And like I have a good life, all that sort of shit. Like she never gets involved in that way.
You're right.
I don't know how she separates those things in her brain from screaming into a prep-year-old's face to not getting involved with partners.
Because sometimes the breakups don't take. You know, be like, yeah, well, if I ever see that slut at the supermarket, I'm going to put dog food in her mouth. And then you'd be like, we're back together. I was like, well, I hope she likes dog food. That's the only reason I said that. I thought that she mentioned that. It was her favorite.
Hey, it's GMat here, and don't forget, if you enjoyed that episode of the GMat podcast and you want to hear more, we also have the podcast post show over at patreon.com/the GMat podcast. The post show is a shorter episode recorded directly after the main podcast where we wrap things up and talk about anything we didn't have time to talk about. $3 a month and cancel anytime. We are a community-supported podcast, so your support over there funds the show and makes it easier for us to keep doing what we love. If you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/the GMat podcast.